Okay, I've never been to a book launch party before, and I think you're supposed to read, and it's probably kind of staid and boring, so obviously this is a bar, and that's not what we do, so I'm not going to bore you by reading, so have some drinks. Are you fucking nuts? Read the index. I'll read one paragraph, I'm not going to read the story. It's called Down at the End of Lonely Street. Dead-faced stool jockeys sucked down rock gut in a time-worn bar room stuffy with smoke and conditioned air. It was Las Vegas, and the bars never closed, allowing these rummies the freedom to drink until they passed out and start again whenever they woke up. You guys want to talk in the back? That's cool. It really is. We're not standing on ceremony here. It's fine. No, me or them? All right. No, real. I'm serious. It's okay. The freedom to drink until they passed out and start again whenever they woke up. A routine Paul found enviable as he pounded vodka tonics to confuse the pain of being dumped by his girlfriend. Paul was not yet 30. Sport shirt and slacks, short hair spiked with products. A pampered son of privilege, slumming alone at this downtown dive rather than catching a buzz with his friends on their usual Friday night of ultra lounging on the Strip. Being dumped was the punch in the gut a man feels before realizing she did him a favor by opening the door for him to sleep with better-looking women. To explore new worlds of opportunity once he shook off the punch and stopped feeling sorry for himself. But Paul was just getting started. Alcohol didn't make him drunk in the traditional way, just focused his anger. Fueled an inbred superiority as he watched bookend grandmothers turn to me. Bookend grandmothers drinking gin and smoking Luckies. Carbonated she-hens hanging on to back-sore laborers with the ooze of a hard day's work still ripe on their clothes. A once-upon-a-time flower child in a tie-dye dress dancing alone near a makeshift stage in the corner. Behind the bar, a tight polyester shirt and symmetrically carved afro branded the man in charge a refugee from the 70s. Though to Paul he looked curiously futuristic, flanked by yellowed photographs of forgotten sports heroes and the cheesecake model on a beer clock that had read 3:15 since Godzilla ate Tokyo. Hey Superfly, one more. Conversations hit the brakes as people who had spent their lives on the downside of advantage watched to see if the rich kid was going to get his ass kicked or just bounce into the street. Paul didn't care which. A black eye would be 2 steps up from the day he had had. But the bartender did what a good bartender does. Ignored him. The wilted flower danced over to Paul. Her name was Penny. I'll buy you that drink. I don't need you to buy me a drink. You do if you want to drink it here. Her voice was grainy from cigarettes. You here to see Elvis? Who was this rusty old stove with the scraggly hair? He wondered if her pussy was as gray as her head. A thought mercifully ambushed by eye contact with a blonde at the other end of the bar. A street-worn tart with a store-bought rack stuffed into a cheap dress 2 sizes too small. And any other night, Paul would have skewered her with the same contempt he was pissing on Penny. But this was not any other night. He was drunk, angry, and alone. He would fuck this blonde in a New York minute. Fuck her till she hurt, then fuck her again. Penny interrupted his obvious thought. When a guy comes in wearing a Rolex and he's not here to see the show, odds are it's girl trouble, drowning his sorrows in the first dive bar that gets in his way. Accepting a drink didn't obligate him to listen to barstool philosophy. Why couldn't this cankered old stove just leave him alone? Let him get his blood alcohol to a level where he would allow himself to wallow in the recycled poontang of the blonde tart with the oversized rack. Penny took a sip of her drink. For something to begin, something has to end. That's some Elvis lyric. Opportunity. Opportunity Penny herself tossed away all those years ago when she declared that no one would ever again have the chance to break her heart. And no one did, because she never answered the door. When finally she was willing, nobody knocked. When somebody breaks up with you, you can't waste time feeling sorry for yourself. You've got to look at the positive. Get out and meet new people. I can get laid anytime I need it. Of course you can. Penny looked as the blonde continued to flirt with Paul at the other end of the bar. You're a man, you have money. The room fell suddenly silent as the bartender pulled the plug on the jukebox. All eyes on a big man with black sideburns who stood center stage in a flared white jumpsuit and giant rhinestone belt buckle. He pressed the play button on the cassette player that would be his backup band, struck the pose, then tore into Heartbreak Hotel. The room became electrified as oversized speakers detonated a voice that was surprisingly rich. Old ladies swooned and couples danced to the music that captured the spirit of a happier, more hopeful time. Even the dent-faced stool jockeys came alive as the man in the white jumpsuit read this dive into a frenzy that made life briefly better for the weary souls who toiled 8 days a week just to break even. Paul didn't get it. Some fat guy singing in front of a tape player. Yet if the real Elvis walked in, nobody would have given him a second look. Life's stepchildren, who had every reason to be bitter at the hand they had been dealt, yet their feet tapped to the music as if they hadn't a care in the world. How could people with such wretched lives be so happy? He watched Penny dance away from the bar, and all he could see was some old stove to whom opportunity had long since given the kiss off. Not a woman granted immunity from her daily grind in a room that made her feel like she was part of something special. That she was part of something special. That this was the one night of the week she could go home and maybe feel it was okay to be alone. Paul still didn't get it. But a couple hours in this bar that time had forgotten was all the wake-up call he needed to shake off the punch and quit feeling sorry for himself. To refuel his superiority. Fate had dealt him all the aces and he had a lifetime to enjoy all his money could buy him, provided he break for the door before his foot started to tap to whatever it was that was so contagious in this geriatric gin mill. He disappeared into the night toward the neon glitz of the strip where he would catch up with his friends. When the morning light would tap dance on Penny's head, it would be a hangover easily soothed by 1 part aspirin and 2 parts afterglow. She would think of Paul. She would feel sorry for him. That's it.